Welcome back. Thank you guys for watching. I know I'm supposed to be doing a birth vlog of my past birth stories and my current birth plan, but I suck and still not done with it. And I'm probably just gonna scrap what I have and start all over. But I did have an interesting last couple weeks that I wanted to share with you guys. We ended up getting ultrasound results back from my diagnostics at 20 weeks, and they were not what we expected. So I just wanted to share with you what has happened and what has been going on and keep you guys updated. It's been one heck of a week. Let's go. Hey, as I said, I went to a diagnostic ultrasound at 20 weeks, and I thought everything went great, because the tech had said everything went great, and the tech had said baby looked great. Techs can't actually tell you when things are wrong, so, you know, it's kind of irrelevant, but I assumed everything was great. I was wrong, I guess. I ended up getting a call a couple weeks later, or not a couple weeks, a couple days. It was like 4 days, from my agency that I might be being sent in to see a specialist because they found something's wrong. My agency wasn't quite sure what was wrong at that point. Nobody had really told me anything. So from what she was aware of, the agent is just that I had a possible exposed umbilical cord. An exposed umbilical cord. Which I have no idea what that meant. She didn't know what that meant. So I had to Google, because I'm terrible and I really gotta stop Googling things. But I went to Dr. Google and I Googled, and I shouldn't have. There wasn't a whole lot of information that I found, but what I did find I didn't like, and it was scary, and I panicked a little bit. But try my best to stay calm and just, you know, it is what it is. And I had texted my intended parents, seeing how they're doing, because I'm sure they're freaking out even more than I was. I don't know if they got more detail than I did or not, but it was a rough day. So that's the first thing I did, was I Googled what it was to see if it was anything serious. So I found a couple articles, and I have no idea how to pronounce the word. It's like velomonis or something. I don't know. I just Google exposed umbilical cord and it comes up, and I forget how to pronounce it, and it's a pain in the butt, but it pretty much meant that that my umbilical cord, part of it wasn't covered, that it was the veins and arteries inside were exposed. So where my umbilical cord met my placenta, instead of it going straight in and the arteries going in and you know, being protected, it kind of stops right at the top, and all the vessels aren't in the gelatin like skin protective coat that's around the entire umbilical cord. All the veins kind of at that end just spidered out onto the placenta and kind of go in, so all the veins and arteries were exposed on the outside, which isn't good. But that's the only news that I'd gotten, and that's all I could find out at that point in time. I ended up getting a call from my doctor's office a couple more days later, trying to get referrals and stuff to see where to send me. And I guess on top of that, I also had marginal cord insertion. So when your placenta attaches to a wall, the cord then, we'll say the cord is my arm. The cord sticks straight out and goes into baby's belly button. Well, my cord to baby, we'll say this is my belly, this is my belly button. My placenta is already on the outer wall. I have an anterior placenta, which luckily it's high enough up above my belly button that it's not a big deal. If it's lower, people or doctors do worry, because if I need a C-section, they could cut the placenta, and then it's a big no-no. But mine's high enough up that it's fine. But it is on that outer wall, and instead of the cord going straight to baby and straight right into the placenta, instead my cord is in this little crack over here. So the crack between my placenta and my wall, that's where the cord is. So not only is it exposed and spidering out, it's in a crease. And when you have marginal cord insertion and it's in that crease, it can cut off a lot of the nutrients and supply to baby. So that's just fun. More side effects of that are hemorrhaging at preterm labor. So, you know, and then with the exposed cord, with all your veins and arteries exposed, you also have a chance of preterm labor, along with one of the arteries or veins rupturing. So, which is terrifying. If a rupture isn't caught in time, baby could end up stillborn. If it does get caught, then I would most likely have an emergency C-section to get baby out before something happens to baby and baby loses all supply. So it's just it was rough. Definitely had me worrying. I can't even imagine how my intended parents felt worrying about that. You know, to go through all of this and then be told that something might be wrong with baby, or baby might be preterm, or these are the side effects and consequences, and it's just really rough. So they went to send me out to a specialist. The first specialist wouldn't take my insurance. It was going to cost a lot out of pocket, which was ridiculous. We ended up finding a different specialist that would take my insurance, and I went and saw that one instead the following week, which was this last, was that Tuesday? I don't remember. My memory's bad. All my days put together, and I don't know. I don't go anywhere to do anything. So my days all look like this. So I don't remember days. Irrelevant. I went to that ultrasound, and they wouldn't let my agent in with me. They're very paranoid because of COVID going on. This was probably the most strict office I've ever been. I'm not gonna lie, the staff was kind of rude. Like, really rude. But I got in there and I tried to explain the situation that we wanted the surrogate, that I was a surrogate, and that I wanted either my agent in there to ask the questions that mom wanted, or that we could call mom on the phone. And they were like, we don't allow cell phones, and we don't allow this and that, and nobody can come in because of COVID, just you. And I was like, ugh, COVID's stupid. So I go in there anyways, because I obviously have to do my ultrasound by myself, and I'm just hoping that it's not as bad as it sounds. And I go to get my ultrasound done again to check to see exact position of everything. And my mom is really firm, a firm believer in Christianity, and my mom has been praying all week, and she's told a couple of her friends, she's kept private details private, but has left it that the baby that I'm carrying might, or that my pregnancy might have complications and pay for baby safety. So my mom has her group of friends and everything that have been praying. Not to make this a religious video or anything, but we'll get there when we get there. So I go to my ultrasound, and she explains to me that I'll probably have to see a specialist every 2 weeks. They're going to want to monitor baby because we don't want anything to rupture. We have to make sure baby's growing at a certain rate. And she's going over all the protocols of all these things I'm going to have to do and how often I'll be seen, and it's going to become just kind of a pain in the butt and just more worrisome, because now I'm going to have to go to doctor like all the time and hope that baby turns out okay every single time. And I've always been pretty worry free. Like, pregnancies have always come easy. I've never had complications, so now I'm just like thinking of all the horrible things that could go on, and she's telling me all the things I'm gonna have to do, and it's just like, I'm scared. But she started the ultrasound, and she's kind of just looking at me, and she looks at the ultrasound, she's looking at me, and she shows me the ultrasound, she's showing me all the little details, and she couldn't find a single thing wrong. Not a single thing. And I mean, the first place found 2 things wrong, and they were pretty sure, which is why they were sending me to a specialist, but she couldn't find a single thing. She found the cord right away, right in the middle of the placenta, perfect where it's supposed to. Nothing was exposed directly in. She's watching the flow of everything to it. It's so cool the way that they can look at all the little details they can find in ultrasounds. It's just fascinating. And it looked nothing like the first ultrasound that I had. And it was just, sorry, my phone was ringing. it's just super weird how I could go from having these things wrong that are so serious and I was gonna have to be monitored to going into the next ultrasound and everything being totally okay. And I don't want to make this a religious video. I really don't. I'm telling you, it's a freaking miracle, because it was like, I don't know how, like, I even asked her, I was like, how would they think that they found these things wrong and then all of a sudden it's fine? She's like, well, she's like, I don't know. She was like, I can understand maybe the marginal insertion, maybe the cord was wrapped weird and it just looked like it was put in somewhere else. She's like, I can see that. She goes, the exposed, as for being exposed, it's pretty obvious when it is and when it isn't. She goes, I don't know how you really messed that up. So either somebody got the wrong ultrasound results and sent them, or we had some sort of miracle and that baby magically was fine at the next ultrasound. And it was just really crazy and super weird. And it was funny because the tech was the only person that was nice in that office, and she answered all my questions. She was super sweet. But she was just boggled. She actually went and grabbed another tech to come in and double check because she couldn't find a single thing wrong, and she doesn't understand how the first ultrasound could find these things wrong and them not be there again. So that was crazy. I ended up seeing the actual doctor after, who I was trying to call my intended parents. I wanted to, and they had asked to talk to him, but he was kind of rude too. I got into his office, and before I could even say anything, I went to ask the nurse if I could use the phone to talk to him, and I started asking her, and she was like, we don't allow phones in here, and she cut me off. And I was like, well, the intended mom, when I got there, I'm the intended mother, and he was like, it's fine, everything's fine. He cut me off. Everybody just kept cutting me off, and it was really annoying. He's like, baby's fine, everything's perfect, healthy. He goes, I don't see why you need to continue coming here. You shouldn't have come to me in the first place. There's nothing wrong. And then it was like, later, bye. I saw him for 30 seconds. I spent most of my time with the tech, who was super sweet, but it's just really crazy to go from a stressful week thinking all these things are wrong and all the possibilities that could happen to baby is absolutely perfect in every way, weighing in at 1 pound and 1 ounce, and that all the other ultrasounds are wrong. The other diagnostic ultrasound was completely wrong, and it's just super weird and crazy. But I have to say, it has made my whole week better knowing that everything is perfectly fine. But it definitely was a stressful couple days, and I can't even imagine what was going through my intended parents' head. And I've never even heard of these things before. These aren't things, people don't talk about things like this. I feel like nobody ever talks about the bad things that happen in pregnancy. But that was scary. And I'm really glad that it's fine now, but it was definitely rough little bit of time there. But I mean, everything's fine now, so that's a plus. But yeah, so that has been my most recent update. Sorry I changed scenery. It got really hot outside. My phone started overheating. It's 90-something degrees outside. My phone was like, no, thank you. So, yeah. But yeah, it was definitely a rough week. But everything's good now. I have a doctor's appointment in a couple days to go over how fun the last week and a half, 2 weeks have been, and hopefully I can get him to answer a couple more questions and what exactly happened, which I'm sure he'll probably just brush it off because everything ended up turning out normal. But yeah, so most recent update, I am now also 23 weeks. We are getting closer and closer every day. I'm getting a little nervous because COVID's spiking up again. I was just getting excited to finally be able to start leaving my house just for all of this to start all over again. But yeah, I will have that birth video up at some point this week. Maybe. Hopefully. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always ask me down below. I did get a comment on one of my last videos asking about if anything ever embarrassing happens during my during my pregnancies. It's like gas, I believe, was the example. Yes. So I'll throw that in really quick. Embarrassing things during pregnancy. Gas is probably my least embarrassing thing. I'm I don't get embarrassed easily. I'm not ashamed. I have gas, so it's fine. And when you're pregnant and on prenatals, you get really super constipated and a lot more gas. So it's really great. My husband just loves it. But I think one of the more embarrassing things that happens to me is I have completely lost bladder control at this point. I was fine with my first kid. My second kid, you could kind of feel my bladder control going away. My third kid, every time I sneezed, I peed. This time, I can think about peeing, I'll pee. It was probably like 2 weeks ago. I was sitting on the swing with my husband and I sneezed and full on peed on our outdoor swing. Like, no joke, peed. And I kind of just looked at him and he's like, no, you didn't. I was like, I tried. I tried to hold it. I peed before we came out here. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Baby thinks my bladder's trampling. I can't help it. So yeah, embarrassing things happen in pregnancy. You pee on yourself a lot. You have gas. I feel like that's not too bad though. Nausea sucked because you smell certain things and you just barf. If you're out in public, it can be extremely embarrassing to be fine one second, puking the next. So that's always fun. Other embarrassing things. When you think you're wearing a cute outfit and you go out and you realize half your belly's hanging out of your shirt, that's always been a fun one. I don't realize how big I am until I'm walking around and I can feel the breeze hit my belly outside and it's like, oh my, that's hanging out. Oh, this shirt's not big enough. Luckily, I don't have to go out in public right now, so I can wear whatever I want at home. Which I don't wear a whole lot. Embarrassing things. That's all I can think of right now. I mean, my mother-in-law walked in on me crowning with my first child, so I don't think it gets any more embarrassing than that. Nothing like a crotch shot of a head coming out. Your mother-in-law walking in just being like, hey, wow, okay, thanks, bye. So, I like to think that I'm very hard to embarrass these days. But yeah, so I think that is it for today's video and today's vlog. And I appreciate you guys for watching all my nonsense. And feel free to like, comment, ask me more questions. I don't mind answering. And I will see you guys hopefully again within this week if I ever get that video done. Bye.